Hello everyone, today is day 2 of my 1 palette 1 week series. We are using the Nubian 2 by Juvias Place if you watched my first tutorial. So these are the shades that are in the palette that we're going to be using. And today I wanted to go with some neutrals and greens. I looked at this palette and immediately saw this beautiful bright emerald green shimmery shade, and I knew that I wanted to use that in a look, so I did use that today. I also used Madagascar up the top here, Sheba, and a little bit of Kenya. I hope that you guys like this look, and let's jump into the tutorial. Alright, so day 2 of the Nubian 2 1 palette 1 week. As always, I'm going to be starting with my MAC Soft Ochre paint pot. Alright, so for my eyes today, I'm going to be taking, I think, these 2 shades on my lid and then this shade underneath my lower lash line. So I'm going in with that first matte shade, which is called Madagascar. It's like a camely shade but a little bit deeper, so it still has that dirty yellow undertone but it isn't quite as mustard, and I'm making this look quite round. Juvias Place is a black owned company. I'm not sure if you knew that, you probably did because it's been all around the internet. With eyeshadows is that because they are designed for people of colour, they're going to be much more richly pigmented. I'm finding that for myself I'm having to take very small amounts because they're turning out very pigmented on my really pale skin. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you like punchy eyeshadows that give a lot of colour payoff, this brand might be a really good one for you, although you know you'll hear my full review at the end of the week, but just what I'm noticing now. But that's something to keep in mind. This shade here is the one that I just went all over my crease with. Now I'm going to be going into this shade Sheba, and most of the pigmentation is going to be by the lash line, and then I'm bringing that up to meet in the crease with that other shade. Now going back in with that first shade Madagascar, I'm just blending out all of those edges. I don't want this look to be really defined crease then lid shade. I kind of want it all to meld together because we are going to be doing that pop of colour on the lower lash line, and I think that that will look quite cool if the top lid is more like a wash and then the bottom lash line is where the party is. I think I will be taking a little bit of this shade Kenya and taking that on a small little brush. I'm just going to wipe it off on my pants. Blending that a little bit into the outer third. If you can see the difference between those two eyes, I didn't want anything super stark. I just wanted a slight definition that we had on the eye. I think actually to blend them both together, I'm going to be taking a little bit of this shade here called Egypt, which is the shade that we're going to put on the lower lash line, and I'm just going to blend that a tiny little bit into the lash line on the outer third, just to bring a little bit of green up to the top lid so that it blends in really easily with that bottom lash line. Alright, so now I'm going to finish off the rest of the face, and I will be back with you when we do the underneath of the eyes and the face makeup that changes. Alrighty, so I have finished my face routine, and I actually filmed it this time so that I can add a link underneath all my videos and not show you guys the boring stuff every single video. But if you don't find it boring, I will have it linked below as soon as it becomes live. So for my blush today, I'm going to be using Video. This is by Urban Decay. These 8-hour blushes are for sure probably my favourite blush formulation. They just last really well on the face. They have a really nice pigmentation without being overwhelming. They have no shimmer to them, but they do have just a really nice skin-like look to them. Next, for my highlight, as I found out while using this today, I'm going to be using this shade here, which is called Zuri. When you're using eyeshadows for highlight, make sure you have a really light hand because they're not formulated for the face. They are going to be richer in pigment, but you can use them on the face for sure. So now I'm just taking some on my finger and really pressing it into that inner corner to give that a pop on the inside of the eye. Now for underneath my eyes. Where are all my brushes? Okay, so firstly, just to make sure that the colour blends really seamlessly, I'm going to be taking this shade Madagascar again, which is the shade that we have on the top, and I'm going to blend that underneath the lower lash line. This is a really light wash of colour. I don't want it to actually peek through it all. I just want to have that nuance of that dirty shade so that it really ties into the top. Now, we had a pencil brush that we did that slight detailing on the top of the eye with, in that green shade, and we're going to be doing that underneath my eye. There is really no nice way to do this. So we're kind of smoking out that lower part out here. So we just want to take a little bit of that shade and mix it with a little bit of Madagascar and just press it right on that outer corner of the eye, just to really blend that out. So this part here looks smoked out, but this part here is quite packed with pigment. And I'm just intensifying that top lash line just a teeny tiny bit. So I think that that looks really cool. I'm really happy with it. I like how intense the lower lash line is. And I am going to, I think, be using a nude liner on the waterline. I'll just see how that looks. So that is one eye done. The nude liner that I'm using is by Eye of Horus, which is an Australian company, and this stays on my waterline all day. It does take a little building up of pigmentation, but the stickability of it is awesome. So that is what the eyes look like thus far. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It wasn't going in the direction that I thought it was going to go in with the green on the top, but I feel like it looks really good. Now I'm taking, as always, my IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. Next, for my lipstick, I'm going to be taking Ginger. This is by Kylie Cosmetics. Now, just for shits and gigs, I kind of want to see how this Lime Crime Diamond Crusher will look on top of it. This one is in Lit. And I'm putting it into the centre of the lips initially, waiting for it to dry a little bit. These have quite a dry texture anyway, and when they dry, you rub your finger over it. So as you can see, compared to the top, the bottom just looks way more natural, whereas this looks like it needs a little bit of a rub. Now I'm just putting a gloss over top of it. Hey guys, so I am back filming maybe like 4 hours later because I was editing the footage and I realised that my lip colour made me look like a 40-year-old housewife. So I'm going to be doing a different lip colour. I also put some more blush on. This blush is because Flower Child. So for my lip colour, I think I'm going to be doing this one, but I'm worried again that it will age me. I know that this is another kind of dead colour, so this is the final look. That was Bow and Arrow by Kat Von D, and what the heck? Hit the Dirt from Makeup Monsters combined for some reason. I don't know. So I think I feel a lot better about that look. I'm also going to be doing some more highlight because as you can see that eyeshadow has kind of disappeared off my face. I'm going to be taking the Moonchild Glow Kit by Anastasia, and I'm going to be taking Lucky Clover, which is this green shade. Ooh, I like that. I think that's really cool. This shade doesn't look too green, but it still has a little bit of a green duochrome to it, which looks really cool, I think. I can do a whole review video on this versus the Makeup Geek duochrome highlighters if that's something that you would be interested in. Click the little eye at the top of this screen, I'm pretty sure it's over here, and it'll bring down a poll. And you can click it on there. It's both on mobile and on desktop, so have a look for the little eye icon. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!